This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, and stories that leads the show are as follows. Facebook suicide prevention. We're going to talk about Comcast and fast lanes with the death of net neutrality. We're going to talk about dead people making positive comments about the repulsion of net neutrality. We're going to talk about how the federal student aid site has been hacked. We're going to talk about how the White House is thinking about doing a personal cell phone ban. Of course, all the news of the day as well. I want to welcome you to episode 1243 of the Geek News Central podcast for Monday, November 27th. The show, of course, is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com, and listeners just like you, great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today yourself as a listener at geeknewscentral.com/insider or simply paypal.me/geek news. You can pick up Ohana gear, cool coffee mugs and stuff, cafepress.com/Ohana store. Hey, I want to give a warm welcome to all the new listeners of the show. Thank you for checking the show out for the very first time. Of course, if you're a longtime subscriber of the show, we want to thank you for being subscribed as well. And if you're not subscribed, it's very important that you take time to just, 3 minutes and visit geeknewscentral.com. Check out all the great content on the website. You can scroll through and read some of the articles that have been published in the last week. And while you're there, just click on the subscribe on Apple Podcast, on Android, by email, either by Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, whatever your poison is there for consuming content. That's the way to subscribe, right? And on every single page of geeknewscentral.com is where you're going to find the place to get subscribed. And if you don't know how to subscribe to a podcast, just click on the more subscribe options. Of course, we want to thank everyone again for being here, and thank all the longtime listeners for being part of the show and checking us out. And of course, a big shout out to the Ohana. And matter of fact, the Ohana have their own, see if I can point at it right, their own bug on the video now. The problem with this bug is it follows everything. I can't turn it on or turn it off. It's just on. It's something that the new TriCaster will do it, but I haven't figured out how to make a macro. The macro is I'm supposed to be able to point at it, and it's supposed to go away, but that's a work in progress. And for those of you listening, just take a look at the video. Okay, so anyway, hey, again, visit geeknewscenter.com, subscribe to the show, and of course, visit daily to read the great content. If you have comments on the show, we want you to feel free to email, or actually follow me on Twitter at Geek News, and then really geeknews@gmail.com is the email address if you want to drop me an email. You can join our Slack channel by just sending me an email and say, hey, Tad, I want to join the Geek News Central Slack channel, and I'll get you added to that. You can follow on Google Plus or Facebook just by searching for my name. And here's the alternate ways that you can listen or watch the show. You can watch the show on the Roku via the Tech Podcast channel. You can watch on your Apple TV just by searching for Geek News Central. You can listen on Amazon Echo by telling the Alexa device to play the latest edition of the Geek News Central podcast. You can listen on Stitcher. You can watch or view at blueberry.com. You can tell your Google Home device, okay, beep, play the podcast Geek News Central. And if you have one of these new Microsoft devices, and we'll talk about that in a second. Well, actually, I'll talk about it now. You can tell that COR name, Core. I'm not going to say the rest of it, so I'm going to trigger everyone's Windows computers. Just tell Core to play Geek News Central. And we found out today, Michael Dare found out that the Microsoft device or even your desktop will play the show just by telling Core, the rest of the word, that word. I'm trying not to trigger everyone's devices because we had on the new media show, I've gotten some emails from people yelling at Rob, my co-host, for triggering and basically causing people not to be able to listen to our show because he kept telling the Amazon device to do something. And if we say those trigger words, we just need to be able to change every one of these devices' default name to something else is what we really need to do. But of course, that's how you watch or listen to all the content on this show. Is all those options, and plus, I think we're on a bunch of streaming sites as well. Of course, you can watch the partner shows of Geek News Center include No Better Than Average with Jacob and Jeff, the Gadget Professor, Mr. Don Bain, the Pro Gear site written by the GNC team, the New Media Show co-hosted by Rob Greenlee and I, and then of course the Podcast Legend Show, which hasn't had a show forever or an episode forever. But we definitely want to thank the longest running continuous sponsor of any podcast known to man, and that would be GoDaddy. And we want to thank them for their ongoing support. And really, what it's all about, and I'm looking at the November numbers. You guys rock. I mean, really, great month to pull it through, to knock it out of the ballpark. I think we're going to have an incredible sponsorship support month. I just bow down to all of you and thank you for making it happen. But if you haven't picked anything up at GoDaddy yet, geeknewscenter.com/GoDaddy is the place to go. And really, there's a deal there for you if you're looking for something. 30% off new product purchases, 99cent.com. That's a one-time good deal code. You get one time a .com for 99 cents with a new account. You get $1 a month economy hosting with a free domain. Again, $1 a month for 12 months with a free domain, $12. The regular retail on domains $8.49 with a .com. You get $1 a month managed WordPress hosting. Again, $12 for the first year with a free domain. And if you're a business owner, definitely check out that GoDaddy website builder. You get a month free, your choice of personal, business, or business plus plans. All those codes start with CJC followed by GNC. And then all the codes are there for you to utilize. So definitely check that out. One thing I did tonight was I turned the volume up a little bit. Am I roasting you guys live? Is it too hot? Because I'm getting a notification that I'm clipping. Oh yeah, let me turn you guys down a little bit. See if I can do this without. Oh, wrong way. Oh, I think I got it perfect. So, yeah, let me know if I'm blowing you out. I might be just a little bit. Let me turn AGC off, see if that helps. Well, I may have tweaked you too high, so my apologies tonight if I'm blowing you out audio-wise. So anyway, I want to thank GoDaddy for the ongoing support of the show, of course, and definitely check out all those promo codes out at geeknewscenter.com/GoDaddy. Hope everyone's back from a safe and successful Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. I hope everyone had fun with their families. I hope there wasn't too many fist fights. I hope there wasn't too many verbal arguments over politics. I think it'd have been just cool. And of course, here at the Cochran household, it's just us and a few family friend members, but I think it would be fun just to be at a big, like a 50 people Thanksgiving and drop some politic question at the dinner table and just take the plate and get up and walk away and let it explode. I think that would be a lot of fun. So Mike, thanks for the volume check. I do appreciate that. And hopefully we're not clipping. I do think I have it just a little bit too high tonight. But I started cooking at 5:30 on Thursday morning. And actually what it was is my wife was working. As you guys know, she's still working for the airlines. And she had to work the morning of Thanksgiving. Yes, she did get time and a half, I think, because she is hourly at that job. And I was planning on not getting out of bed until about 7. The turkey didn't have to go in until 9 because we had almost an 18-pound bird and we didn't want to eat until 1. So, doing the math and everything, and I know my oven cooks a little hot, so I wasn't going to put the turkey in no earlier than 9. But she rousted me out of bed at 5:30. And she went to work, and I started cooking. And my kids, a lot of help they were. Well, my youngest was helpful. I made him get all the good china out and wash it and clean it and get it on the table. But we had some friends over, and it was mostly wife's girlfriends, and a lot of divorcees in the house. I don't know what that was all about, but anyway, we ate on schedule and had a great meal, and was very thankful for having the day with friends and family. And the girls cackled all afternoon, doing their gossiping, and it was all in Japanese, so that was perfect for me. Kids were all outside playing basketball, and I passed out on the living room floor. No football, of course. Right? And so anyway, I had been watching the deals. Of course, everyone's email exploded on Thursday, right? And we all got the deals. And I went through and I loaded Amazon, Best Buy, B&H, Newegg. Like, it was all the techie stuff, right? And I'm going to be frank. There was nothing. Nothing. Nothing made me pull the trigger on Thursday. Nothing. Friday, same thing. Now, I'll tell you what did happen on Sunday. Sunday, I got an email from B&H. And B&H, and what I was really hoping for was I want to buy one more Canon 80D body as a backup. And I've been hoping that body would go on sale, and it's always $12.99, $11.99, $1,099. It hasn't went below $1,000. And I'm just, I don't need it. So I was hoping it would go on sale, and it did with some kits, and I didn't need the lens. I just need the body, and still no individual body below $1,000. But B&H on Sunday sent me an email, said, hey, here's our deals. I loaded them. And every year that we go to CES, that we do the studio, Don Bain brings the mini lights that we use in the studio. And they're about 12 inches by 6 inches. They're just little mini lights, LED lights. And I'm very appreciative of him bringing them. But for a number of years, I've had my eyes on hoping to catch a deal on some of these lights, and I do buy better quality stuff. I don't like buying plastic fixtures. A lot of the Chinese knockoffs are that way, and while they work, they break easy. And lo and behold, B&H had an incredible deal on 12 by 6 by 2 inch LED light fixtures, full lighting control, full color control. Be powered by a battery or be powered by a standard, what most pro lights do, with an XLR plug. And I was like, yes. And they were $200 a piece. So I ordered 3 of those plus barn doors. The barn doors were retail. And that was my big buy from one exception. I did get a text on Thanksgiving Day from Michael Dare talking about, and I tweeted this for everyone, and I also put it up on my face, and it was on my Facebook page as well. And I'm going to have to forgive me here because I'm pulling a brain fart as I'm doing the show live tonight, and that's horrible. On the action, it's the box is sitting. I actually promised Michael I would not unbox mine before he got his. And let me back up, and if you just go to facebook.com/Cochran, you're going to see it. But we picked up, and we talked about it on the show. Let me get, I'm close. Okay, we got the Harman Kardon Microsoft CORTANA powered speakers for half price. They were $99. So that is the only purchase I made on Turkey Day. And that was a score. And Michael pointed me to that deal, and I got in on that. And so that that device will be unboxed, and I'll have it here in the studio for the next show. But good score by Michael, and of course he's one of our Super Ohana here, and Mike's helped us out many years at CES and a variety of different other events as well. So I want to know, what did you guys score? Anything good? Anything? How about Cyber Monday? Today was a dud. I mean, dud. I expected to wake up to 150 emails, and it was like everyone kind of like did their dump already, and it was horrible. I mean, it was a dud. There was nothing good to shop. And another thing I was looking for is Canon lenses. I'm slowly adding, because you can't. My God, you give up your firstborn on some of these lenses. Something. My son came in the other day and he told me certain lens he wanted for his media group that he's working with, and one of his friends has this lens, and I, well, yes, give me this, number, and we loaded it up, and it was like, I'm like, dude, I am not buying that lens, and even if I do, it's not leaving my photog bag without me. It was like $2,600 or something. No, $1,900 some dollars. I'm like, no, you're not getting that lens. You're going to have to use a 50 millimeter prime and a couple others that we have. He wants a 28 millimeter prime, and I understand the reason for that. And I kind of want one of those too. But again, was watching for them on sale. But I'm going to keep watching. And usually they only get like 100 or 50 off. They're not. And I don't buy the cheap ones. I buy the good ones. And so, you just buy them once. You hope, and then you hope you never drop the camera and bust the lens. It's a very, very crazy expensive hobby. Yeah, so you have to choose wisely. So I always go try the lenses, and figure when I'm at like NAB or something like that, I try the lenses and look at and then I write down my little wish list of lenses I want to buy. One rule of thumb I do have, though, for all of you, you have local photography stores, right? If you go in there, don't be a jerk and try a lens and then order it on Amazon. If you're going to go in and try the guy's lens, you're going to pay a little more, but do the guy a solid and buy the lens in the store. Don't go in there and try. And in fact, a lot of people do. I make sure that when I go into the local store I go into, the guy knows that I'm looking for a specific lens. I'll buy it from him, and just because it's the right thing to do. Don't go in there and use him as your test demo. I use NAB as my test place where I don't have to worry about making the Canon folks feel bad. But you do your dealer a solid and buy from them when you can. Okay, anyway, that's it. I'm chit-chatted here too long. We'll get into the tech. But your podcast episode, yes, your podcast is a podcast I'm doing with Mike Dell over at PowerPressPodcast.com. That released on Monday, so today. So that's available if you want to listen to a new show that I'm doing. Other than that, let's get into the content tonight. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Mike, thanks for being here. Dave, thanks for being here and hanging out with me. I definitely appreciate it. And if you're on YouTube, we're at live.geeknewscentral.com. The YouTube live stream is over there, and there's a chat room there as well. So feel free to jump in either place. All right, let me close the show notes. Did I miss anything? I don't know. If I did, I didn't. And again, I want to give everyone of the Ohana here a huge say of thanks for being part of the family here and continuing to support the show after all these many years. It is greatly appreciated. There's one topic I want to cover that it came to me via Twitter, and I don't know if this person is following me on the show or not. His Twitter title is Uncle Jerry. And he said at Geek News, have you seen this video on Alexa editorial? Oh, I'm sorry. I just blew it. Have you seen this video on Amazon's device editorializing her responses? Amazon's Alexa is a crazy and basically talking about being a crazy liberal. And he links to Louder with Crowder. And I'm really not familiar with these guys. But they do a test of the device, asking some questions. And even some of the responses to me are like, wow, that's kind of interesting. And it makes you wonder. And I don't know if I even want to link to this video, but I just want to, you guys do your own test of asking your devices politically charged questions. Just do it yourself. Go on or maybe if you're religious in nature, maybe ask it some religious questions, or just experiment a little bit. So we know that some things, it appears, in the device is scripted. We know some of the responses that the device gives us is from Wikipedia. I know it sources a lot of different locations, but I don't think we can technically call these devices artificial intelligence. Yes, we know they're listening all the time. But when you have humans that are doing the programming and doing the sometimes response interaction and even writing scripted responses to specific questions, I think you'll be a little bit surprised. Now, if we have atheists in the audience, you'll get a chuckle out of this. And for those of you that are Christian that are in the audience, you might see red. But just ask your device. And here's a loaded question to ask. Say, who is Jesus Christ? Ask the device that. And if you're an atheist, you're going to get a response you're going to giggle at. And if you're a Christian, you're going to get a response that makes you upset. And I'm just going to paraphrase this with, I don't want to make this a political or religious show or anything like that, but I just want to point out that there are people behind some of the responses that this device makes to queries. And we have to be careful. As things move forward, we have to remember that there's human programmers behind the Google device, the Amazon device, and the Microsoft device. We don't have true artificial intelligence. That doesn't exist at this point. We have devices that have assisted intelligence from human editors. And depending on the individual's views, political slants, will often derive the query responses that comes from these devices. And this Steve Crowder video, these guys are just a little bit over the top in some of the stuff they ask, but they ask questions about Palestine, about Muslims. They ask questions about a variety of different topics, and you contrast and compare to some of the other questions they ask, and it does make you go, just a little bit. And again, I think we have to be careful that these are not artificial intelligence devices. They're assisted intelligence, assisted again by programmers and individuals that all have agendas. Now, let me just be frank. And many years ago, there was a guy that I knew. He volunteered. Well, he didn't volunteer. He got hired to run a conference. And it's a conference that I speak at every year, and I've spoke at the conference it's a podcasting conference. I spoke every year since it's been in the second year it was in its existence, right? And I told him, I said, a lot of people are going to be applying to speak at this event. You're going to get 700 applications for like 100 speaking spots. And I said, one thing you have to always remember is that every speaker, no matter what they say, has an agenda. He says, well, what do you mean, Todd? I says, well, I'm going to be submitting a speaking spot, and I want to talk about this year. And I said, and this is my agenda. This is why I want to speak about this, why I want to share, why I want to get the message out about this. It's a teaching evolution, but again, it's part of my agenda that I want to share with the podcasting space. And I said, agendas can be a couple of things. Agendas could be company focus. In other words, someone could come in and do a semi-pitch during a speech. Agendas could be trying to get people to try a different method on something, but everyone has some sort of an agenda. There's very few people that come in altruistic and are, they're just coming to share. No. People that go to events that speak are self-promoting. There's all kinds of stuff that happens that shouldn't happen. So I said, just be aware of that. You're going to get a lot of people that are going to have an agenda. And I said, as a company owner, I have an agenda. I want to share this specific topic. While it's not directly pitching my company, it definitely aligns with the thought process that I have that goes along with how we want to work with podcasters. So this analogy that I'm using here, sharing with you guys, is the same tie back to people that are programming these devices in our houses. We have to be very, very careful. And as technologists, as all of us are geeks out there, we need to explain this to the people that we love and we trust. Just remember, this is assisted intelligence driven by human interaction. Someday, maybe in my lifetime and ours, those of us that are listening, someday we may truly have a self-aware artificial intelligence that passes the Turing test and everything else, right? We may have that at some point in the distant future. It's kind of scary, kind of cool, kind of excited, right? I think it could be amazing for us, but we're not there. There is agendas in every piece of code that is written and every response made by these devices at this point. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Mike says, even if they're getting sources from Wikipedia, then it is biased since that content is human created by biased crowd/users. That's right. Wikipedia entries are heavily biased. Why do you think my listing at Wikipedia got taken down? Some dude had an agenda to remove Todd Cochran from Wikipedia. Okay, I wasn't notable enough. All right? Okay, I'm cool with that. That was someone's agenda, someone's decision. In the end, it was some dude that had a heartburn with me. And they got rid of me off of Wikipedia because he had heartburn with me. He didn't like me. I knew that because I got an email from him saying that. But he was a god at Wikipedia, and there was nothing I could do to have myself basically saved because of the Wikipedia BS hierarchy. All right? I've never complained about it. I thought about one time about hiring a company to get me reestablished on there. And it was not worth it. And I don't care. I don't. At the time I did. What is it? Is it anything to hurt me now? Nope. So no big deal. But everyone has an agenda. All right? The agenda's on the show. I share with you my ideas, my thoughts, my processes. You take it, you leave it. You agree with it, you disagree with it, right? We have all socioeconomic folks listen to this show. We have all political persuasions. So some stuff I say is going to make conservatives mad. Some stuff I'm going to say is going to make liberals mad. Because I'm kind of a down the middle type of guy when it comes to a whole bunch of stuff. You know, I have ideas on this side and ideas on that side. I'm an average dude. But, this show has an agenda, right? Talk about tech. Saying that's not supposed to be an agenda, Todd. Well, it is, because I'm about ready to share an agenda item with you. Let's talk about Comcast. Oh my gosh. The FCC, they're on a destruction path to get rid of net neutrality. It's gone. There's nothing we can do to save it at this point. It's kaput. It's going to go away. Okay. I in the battle we tried to win. I just don't think we're going to win. There's no way in the climate that it is today with who's in charge at FCC. But for years, Comcast has been promising that it won't violate the principles of net neutrality, regardless of whether the government imposes net neutrality rules that meant that Comcast wouldn't block or throttle lawful internet traffic, and that it wouldn't create fast lanes in order to collect tolls from web companies that want to prioritize the access over the Comcast network. Companies like Google, Netflix, they can probably afford to go in and pay Comcast for a fast lane. And, I'm sure now they're probably having to budget for that. This was one of the ways in which Comcast argued against the FCC, basically saying they should not, at the time, reclassify broadband providers as common carriers, as designated that forced ISPs to treat customers fairly in other ways. The Title II common carrier classification, which is going away, that makes net neutrality rules enforceable, isn't necessary, they said, because ISPs won't violate net neutrality principles. This is what Comcast and other ISPs have quote unquote claimed. This is what we've had for years. So now, Comcast stance has changed. While the company still says it won't block or throttle internet content, it has dropped its promise about not instituting paid prioritization. Comcast now vaguely says it won't discriminate against lawful content or impose anti-competitive paid prioritization. The change in wording suggests that Comcast may offer paid fast lanes to websites or other online services, such as video streaming providers, again, after the FCC eliminates the net neutrality rules next month. Comcast is the largest home internet provider in the United States with more than 23.5 million residential internet subscribers. In May, Comcast Senior Executive VP David Cohen wrote the following. To be clear, Comcast has never offered paid prioritization. We are not offering it today, and we're not considering entering any paid prioritization creating fast lane deals with content creators. But 6 months later, Comcast made the promise again, said we don't prioritize internet traffic or have paid fast lanes, no plans to do so. But the circumstances in 2014 were very different than they are today. The FCC clearly intended to impose some restrictions on paid prioritization. But the NBC Universal conditions expire in September 2018. And with this proposal to undo Title II classification, get rid of net neutrality, both legally and politically, Comcast now has the opening to retreat at least partially from its net neutrality promises. This change was evident in July of this year, and Comcast urged the FCC to turn over Title II. So what's going to happen? I think we're all going to have to be very diligent going forward. I think as consumers, we are going to have to look at the quality of service that we get on everything that we consume. Podcast, media, whether it be Netflix, CBS, ABC, Hulu, doesn't matter. We need to look at the performance we have today and make sure that we continue to maintain the performance of getting access to that content without it buffering or anything going on in the future. We are going to be the ones. They're going to have to be the customer cops on these companies because the government is not going to help. The government's going to let these companies do what they want to do. So we, as consumers, are going to have to be prepared to take the battle to our providers. And it may end up being an all-out war. And this is why I've always advocated for many, many years on this show. Anyone that's been here from the beginning will know that I have always said we need more choices. And as you talk to your public utilities commissions and talk to folks in the space, in your business communities, if you have a choice of internet service providers, it is best that you be very loud and clear you want that to continue. I mean, someone's running a vacuum. The neighbor must have been running a vacuum. Driving me crazy. I could hear it here. Anyway, there it goes again. The wind's blowing tonight, so things are carrying a long distance. And I always have the windows open to the studio. And matter of fact, it's blowing pretty hard. You guys may be hearing the shutter bang a little bit. I apologize about that if you hear that. But going back to the net neutrality stuff, we're going to have to be the cops of our own service and be very vocal about what's going on in the space going forward. All right, next topic. And this is one that we talk about, I try to talk about every year, is about suicide prevention. It is that time of year. I have a friend in the podcasting space that have lost 2 friends over the holiday weekend to suicide. One was a podcaster, a relatively well-known podcaster, and another one was a friend of his. And we're in a time of year where suicides go up. And you just need to be careful. We need to be reaching out to family and friends and checking on their mental state. And if you have a family member that's had problems in the past, this is a good time to check in on them, see how they're doing. But Facebook is introducing some intelligence, again, assisted intelligence, that's going to detect suicidal posts before they're reported. So Facebook has previously used artificial intelligence, and I don't like them. I'm going to call it assisted intelligence to surface suicide reporting options to friends of a troubled user. The technology helps detect users who might be in need of help and connects them to organizations and services that provide help. Facebook has said now it's going to use its artificial intelligence to detect suicidal posts before they're even reported. Facebook's proactive detection intelligent technology is going to scan all posts on the world's largest social network patterns of suicidal thoughts. When it feels it needs to do so, the AI is going to send mental health resources to the user who's flagged to be at risk. The information may also be sent to their friends, and it may even establish contact with local first responders. So, I don't know how they're going to do this, but the AI is going to use to prioritize particular risky or urgent user reports so that moderators can address them before others. More moderators are also being dedicated to suicide prevention. Sometimes people leave suicide notes on Facebook. And the time between the Facebook note being sent and the suicide taking place is often not long. And People leave a lot of stuff on social media now. So I think this is good if they can get this right. It's a little scary, especially if you're just having a down day and someone shows up your door. I think, based on, my exposure to some military folks who had some challenges, is that almost be rather have someone show up the door and say, "Hey, how you doing? Are you okay?" Rather than not. So this is the time of year, and if you've lost a loved one to suicide, you know how devastating that can be. And I hope that all of you will take time during this holiday period as we're approaching the holidays. And we have to watch out this year round, but it just seems to kind of peak. So keep an eye on folks, that are having a little trouble. And reach out and say hi and give them a call or go see them. Invite them over. And remember, you are not a health professional unless you are. And if someone needs help, get them help. All right, switching up here. New York Attorney General investigating why dead people supported the FCC's attack on net neutrality. So apparently, a massive portion of the 22 million public comments on this plan came from a group of individuals using a bot to stuff the ballot box. And a large number of those people were dead. And, these individuals were, probably never even used a computer. So a lot of dodgy behavior. A lot of things that were, a lot of public comments that were, fake. So New York Attorney General is going to investigate. I don't know how they're going to do, but we'll see. Also, parents got a kid going to college. Are they using federal student aid? Are they using federal student aid, FISA? Well. The federal student aid site offers one-stop shopping for ID thieves. If you have someone's name, birth date, and social security number, the FAFSA site will give up sensitive data. So, oh boy. They say 100,000 accounts were hacked. I didn't know that. I don't know if my information was fraudulently retrieved via their website. So my kids go in every year, and I have to sit down with them with my tax return, and we have to put in the numbers. You used to be able to pull it from the IRS, but that got totally hacked, so they had to shut that down. We have to put it in manually now. So if your kid's information or your information's been stolen from one of these other sources, and you got a kid that's doing federal student aid, there's just another opportunity for them to get access to your data. Where is that vacuum running? I wonder if that's my Roomba. But she's not supposed to be running right now. I don't have my phone here to check. That sure sounds like it. It's driving me crazy. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out if it starts banging the door here when it's in the living room. Then I'll have to stop and go push the button. White House is reportedly considering personal phone ban on staff. I don't know why it isn't already. Most government agencies, most military guys aren't allowed to take their phones in their works. They're to have to leave the phone in the car. A lot of spaces they can't even, there's no way you can bring them in. You have to leave them in a box outside, turned off. So the White House is considering banning personal phones. The rest of the government has to deal with that in many cases. Yeah, I bet you that is my Roomba running. I hear it. Or maybe not. If you guys heard in the background, you're already crazy about it too. Hey, Google's trying to diffuse tensions with Russia over website ranking. Russia has recently said it would retaliate if Google downranked the RT and Sputnik media outlets that are believed to be linked to the country's government, Russia statements came after Google executive chairman Eric Schmidt remarked during a summit that the online search giant might downrank results from media outlets that are funded by the government. Google is now reportedly trying to diffuse tension. Google sent a letter to the Russian communications agency Roskomnadzor, reiterated the company does not change its search algorithm to downrank or re-rank individual websites. This might address Russia's concerns. But apparently they had written Google earlier this month to seek clarification about Schmidt's comments. We'd like to inform you that by speaking about ranking of web sources, including the website of Russia Today and Sputnik, Dr. Eric Schmidt was referring to Google's ongoing efforts to improve search quality, Google said in a letter. So they're backtracking. But Google can do what Google can do in slight ways and probably not be caught. Lyft can now test self-driving cars in California. I wouldn't count on one picking you up in the next week, but it's still a big step forward. And it's been granted a permit for the state of California to do testing. And I don't have any total on numbers, but probably in San Francisco and LA, where they've been testing other autonomous cars. SpaceX is being very aggressive. Matter of fact, I don't know what's up with the space.com website, but every time I load a space.com article in Chrome, they have issues. They need to get their webmaster on this. It completely, something weird happens. But anyway, SpaceX, it's just killing me here. They want to have as many as 10 more missions in 2018 than they did in 2017. I don't know what the total is for 17, but pretty aggressive to push the count up. Over on makeuseof.com, there's a lot of new security threats out there. Stuff for Windows and for Mac. You guys running malware applications on your Mac machines? You're not? Well, you've been warned. So, yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that's going on here. So I have that link up in the show notes. You can check it out about these new security threats that are going on. Dictionary.com names complicit word of the year. Not surprised about that. Wonder if that was a political choice. Oh, over on Lifehacker, if you have some friends that don't understand why net neutrality matters, this is some good talking points here. And for those of you that may believe that net neutrality needs to go away, I know we have some folks in the show that believe that, which is fine. Here are some things that may help you change your mind. Link will be up in the show notes for you. Anchor, smallest Bluetooth earbuds are down to $18. This is a flash deal. I don't know how long this is going to last. So if you're listening and you want to pick up some Bluetooth headsets from Anchor, I like the Anchor products. I haven't ever tested these, but they're down to $18. I'm not a big fan right now of the Firefox Quantum browser. My CIO Angelo was just raving. He said, "Oh my God, this is the best update ever to Firefox." And I'm going to be kind of frank. It looks ugly. And I'm not even going to talk about functionality. To me, it just kind of looks like it's went backwards. And it might be operating faster. But everyone is, a bunch of people are raving about this update. And I'm just kind of like, I like things design-wise to be pretty now. And I just think that new design is not that great. And, its UI was never as fast as Chrome. And, but apparently they've been able to fix some of those issues. And that's why I use Chrome primarily for tabbing out 30 or so articles for the show. So maybe it's time to give Firefox a test and see if it can handle multiple loads and the threading involved to do that without bringing my machine to its knees. Also, many of us were opening up all kinds of stuff this past holiday weekend. Maybe you're opening up some sardines, or who knows what you may have been opening up. But there's a good article on the history of can opening and can openers. So if you're into that kind of stuff, link will be up in the show notes for you. Also, there was a good article about a NASA's artificial intelligence drone racing a pro-human pilot. The pro-human pilot, which is a world-class flyer, beat the AI drone, and it not by much though. But they have programmed this drone to performance fly, and the human operator only beat him by a few seconds. So they work with JBL and some other folks too to come up with this. But this should not be surprising at all, folks, that there's some sort of activities going on to essentially have drones get smarter. And that'll happen over time. Hey, Google has updated dock, slides, and sheets for the iPhone 10 and iOS 11. So if you haven't got that update, you probably will in your nightly updates if you're connected to Wi-Fi. Also, there's a cool article on Extreme Tech about 750 Raspberry Pis turned into a supercomputer at Los Alamos National Labs. I've got to go up to Los Alamos National Labs a couple of times when I was active duty. And I'll tell you something about Los Alamos National Labs. Those folks don't get out too much. It is like the best way to describe it is, Independence Day, the movie where they've got all the scientists locked up in bunkers and they're doing the study on UFOs, and it's the kind of the mad scientist thing. I swear to God that they mimicked some of the science. And if you work out at Los Alamos Labs, you are a genius. You're smart. We love you. But you guys need to get out more. There's nothing to do up there except for, that's why it's out in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico. And it is definitely a brainiac city. I mean, people with big IQ brains that are doing really cool stuff. 95% of it will probably never be heard by the public at large. And what they do is they're the unsung heroes of any of these national labs, are unsung heroes in the American ecosphere of the things that they do. But yeah, this is one thing that is coming to light. A 750 Raspberry Pis turned to a supercomputer. And they talk about low cost and it won't work as fast as a big supercomputer, but it can do the functions of a supercomputer on lower end jobs. So pretty cool, pretty smart. Bitcoin currency, boy, $9,700 today. That's interesting. Where's it going to go? When's it going to crash? If you got in early, even as early as January of this year, it is time to sell. It is time to sell your Bitcoins. This is there's a lot of speculation here, a lot of things that can go wrong. So if you're in, you might suggest, and if I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. How much is it going to go down? I don't know. But as much as it's went up, get your profits out now. Grab some money out. Cover your investment. Double, triple your money. And if you want to leave the rest in, great. But if you're in small and you can get out large, I think this is the time. And I know some of you will say I'm wrong, but I just got that feeling. I really, really do. I don't think this is going to end well. So time to cash out. All right. Couple of things going on here. There's a kick your smartphone habit with a substitute phone. And basically this is a widget spinner thing, but it's shaped in the size of a phone. It's something you can move some little balls back and forth, right or left to right. It says try to break your habit. The Twitter suspension of the New York Times account was another human error. The account was locked for one day over the weekend. Dun, dun, dun. Nice fumble. So who's getting fired this time, or who was quitting, or how did this really happen? Good question. Uber's in a hot seat. I've been doing Lyft exclusive here recently. Uber's going to have to explain to Congress why it hid the 2016 data breach that affected 57 million users. I want to know too. These companies, I hope they get fined big. Unexcusable, this behavior. They are just a bunch of bad boys over there. I mean, really. In the military world, you call them a bunch of cowboys. A bunch of cowboys over there. And cowboys get, I don't get it. I really, really don't. How are we doing on time here? Yeah, I think I can get through the rest of the stuff. There's an article on Geek News Central written by Andrew, one of our writers, talks about artificial intelligence might not be all bad. It's a good article about talking about how much the steam engine ushered in the Industrial Revolution. AI could do some cool stuff too. But again, Andrew, I think it's assisted intelligence at this time. I don't know if it's truly artificial. Also, some guy figured out a Facebook bug. He got a $10,000 bounty on it. He figured out how to delete photos from our accounts with basically making you do a poll. And he found some way to do an injection and basically delete photos. So he got himself a $10,000 bounty from the Facebook team. If you have a Chromebook, thanks to Play Store, Microsoft Office arrives on the Chromebooks. Through the magic of Play Store, again, official Microsoft apps have arrived. It's been a long journey to get here with random individual Chromebook models gaining and losing Office support. So the Play Store and Chromebooks bring Android apps to the formerly web-only platform, so that's good. It's all coming together, all integrating. How many of you have a Chromebook? How many of you just gave your kids a Chromebook? How many of you have a SodaStream? Did you know that you could buy concentrated alcohol to make wine with your SodaStream? Oh, not exactly. SodaStream's doing a little bit of a promotion. It's only available in Germany. It's called the Sparkling Gold Drink Mix, and it's an alcoholic concentrate that can add to freshly carbonated SodaStream bottles. They give you they want you to do a 1-to-5 mixture ratio to keep the alcohol at 10%, but this is very dangerous. If they gave, somebody would end up dead if they sold this in the United States. That concentrate is concentrate, and someone would be drinking that straight without putting it in the SodaStream. That's why this is not being sold in the United States, and this is why this is a promotion only. I guess they figure the Germans a little more, how should we say it, can handle their alcohol a little more. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of my assumption here. Leave it to criminals. Airbnb is reportedly being used to launder money, and it's simple. This is what they do. The criminals book a room. The person doesn't have to leave their house. No one shows up. The guy gets the money, and he takes a small skim off the top and gives the rest back to the criminals, and they launder the cash. Oh my gosh. So fraudsters tap hosts to funnel up to $3,000 at a time. So it's from credit cards that they've stolen, all kinds of stuff. So this is where they clean the money. They book an Airbnb room with an accomplice, and the accomplice doesn't have to leave the house, doesn't have to do nothing. He gets the money in his account, and he probably takes 10% and gives it back to the criminals. It's a nice little scam going on there in Russia. Way to clean money. They're always looking for ways to clean money. Airbnb. YouTube for iOS has been updated with battery draining fix. So recently reported that YouTube for iOS had a bug. It seemed to excessively drain the battery, but apparently this update, bringing the version up to 12.45, fixed an issue with the battery usage. So make sure you're updating your phones, everyone. A 14-year-old has been sued by a game developer for cheating. Nobody likes cheaters, especially in the online world, which is why pretty much all games come with anti-cheating measures put into place. However, could cheating be so bad? Yes, turns out the Epic Games sued a 14-year-old. They sued a 14-year-old. Why don't you just ban the 14-year-old for until he's an adult? Why would you sue the 14-year-old? I think that's a little excessive. 14-year-olds, let's be honest, we were all 14 once, right? We were stupid. If they had all this stuff, all this gaming stuff, all these hacks, all that stuff was available when we were 14, we'd have done the same thing. Right? Especially if you're a mediocre player and you want to edge, you're going to cheat. So they're going to sue him. I agree with the mother. It's a little overkill. The 14, see, what did they actually charging him with? The 14-month is contesting the lawsuit and is claiming that Epic is using them as scapegoats. In a statement provided Epic to Kotaku, Epic is not okay with ongoing cheating or copyright infringement from anyone at any age. As stated previously, we take cheating seriously and will pursue all available options to make sure games are fun, fair, and competitive for players. Ban them. NVIDIA's AI, AI will help General Electric speed up medical imaging processing. Deep learning tech is making itself at home in hospitals by helping radiologists examine medical scans for just a bucket image. Now, GE Healthcare is bringing the AI tech directly to scanners thanks to a partnership with NVIDIA and Intel. Announced it will update 500,000 of its medical devices around the world with NVIDIA AI tech, most notably its Revolution Frontier CT scanner. The tech is expected to deliver better clinical outcomes in liver lesion detection and kidney lesion characterization because of its speed, GE wrote in a press release. So, very, very cool. It's going to help us stay healthier or detect stuff that needs to be fixed. Pokemon Go has apparently been a big accident creator. People playing Pokemon Go when they're driving. Ingress is played by a lot of people while they're driving. So I don't know why it's just Pokemon Go that they're talking about here. But apparently lots of billions of dollars worth of damages and some deaths. So please, please, please game responsibly, folks. When these Pokemon Go, stop, get out of the car and play. You don't have to drive and play at the same time. Samsung expected to launch the Galaxy S9 in January. So that's coming. We'll see what happens there. See what price it will be. Don't know if it's going to be announced at the Consumer Electronics Show, but oh yes, it's going to showcase the Galaxy S9 at CES. Outstanding. Shell's announcing it's going to build 80 high-power EV charging stations across Europe. Only 80. This year, Royal Dutch Shell has put more focus on EV, acquiring a company called New Motions, a Netherlands-based company with 30,000 charging points. So they're only going to add 80. So they're going to be working with BMW, Daimler, Ford, Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche. And they're going to be working with them to launch more high-power charging stations in Europe. YouTube is pulling into auto-complete results that showed child abuse terms. The company provides to investigate why it happened as well. So it was like how to have beep in school, how to have a lucid dream, how to have your first kiss, how to have good handwriting, how to have clear skin. So it was basically promoting some search terms were auto-completing with some stuff that probably shouldn't have. Plex DVR can now automatically remove commercials. So if you use Plex, that will work. So also, I just want to talk a little bit about Synology. I posted on my Facebook page. My Synology DS1515 Plus has hardware-wise failed. And I had a indication on Thanksgiving Day something was terribly wrong when it was beeping at me. And I went to investigate. And no drives were bad, but the actual volume had crashed. And what was going on was the network tech storage device was rebooting uncontrollably every 5 minutes. I kind of was able to get it stabilized a little bit and I got a ticket into Synology. They responded relatively quickly. And through a series of emails back and forth with them, they determined that that box was actually supposed to have been recalled. So they are doing a RMA on it. I should have the replacement here at the end of the week. I have a backup of the backup, so I'm not too worried. But they say the data is recoverable. So once I get the new machine, get my drives in it, they're going to actually remote access it. They're going to remount my volume. They're going to let me at least look through and make sure that I've got everything, which I'm 99% sure they do. But I always got that little thing in the back of my head. And as long as they're willing to try to help me out on this, I will see what happens here. Yeah, the machine that should never crash did, and I'm luckily I had a cloud and a hard drive backup of it. So you just never know when something's going to go south. So if you have a DS1515 Plus, it may actually be on a recall list for an Intel chip issue. So be aware of that, all right? All right, got a few emails that came in I want to share with you tonight. First one is from Bill. He says, "Hey, Todd, I've been running Windows 10 at work for over 3 years, starting with the beta of dual booting MacBook Pro without any issues. The biggest difference, I think, is I do not use any third-party AV or malware bytes. They put hooks in the networking stack, so they might be your root cause. In recent news articles point to you being less secure with a third-party AV. I agree. All I run is the Defender, which has added a new feature in the fall update that has whitelist programs that are allowed to make changes to certain folders so that a ransomware program cannot encrypt your documents. Here's how I set up a computer. Here's how I set up computers. A fresh installed Windows 10, which by default is set to update both Windows and Defender. Then I make 2 accounts, one admin that is not used, and a limited user account for daily use. Install Chrome and add uBlock Origin. I use uBlock as well. Turn on controlled folder access, and I think you're as close to foolproof computer as you can get short of buying a Chromebook. Keep up the good work on PS. I'm the guy that found the USB Wi-Fi adapter for your Mac. Yeah, it has held up over time. Thanks, Bill. And he's a techie, tech support coordinator at a public school. Here's the kicker: is it was just fighting me on a network-wide IP change. It kept reverting back to the old network. I was doing flush, I'm doing cache flush, DNS flush, everything. It refused, and then it would go private, and then it would go public. It was killing me. I've got it stabilized now. Everything's good. But, oh, man, I just wanted to... I tell you, as close as I've come to saying I'm going all Mac. I'm not kidding. I was that angry. Bradley said, "Hey, Todd, I think you mentioned getting a new Fitbit. Amazon has them for $99, regular $129. Brad, I'm using my Apple Watch at this time. Pretty happy with it, but thanks for sending that link over." Got an email from Michael. He says, "Hey, Todd, for me, it's kind of creepy that these AI-powered home speakers are learning to distinguish our distinctly different voices. I can ask the Google device, 'Who am I?' The voice would say, 'You are Michael.' It also knows my wife Andrea's voice, but for previously unknown reasons was starting to disobey her commands. This provided me with some amusement at times as I would kid, 'He likes me better.' Yes, I said he because you can now switch it to a male voice. The home device would respond to her, 'I'm sorry, but actually you need to make some changes in your Google Home app.' After checking all my settings in my app and having no luck, I surmised that the AI wanted Andrea to install the app on her phone too. I shared my theory with Andrea, but she waxed stubborn until she was trying to get the home device to play dinosaur and other animal sounds for the grandchildren without success. She gave in, installed the app, and voila, the AI was again a friend in this digital house. Keep up the good work." Wow. Think about that. It forced your wife to install an app on her phone so it would interact with her. I don't know what's more disturbing. Anyone else have that issue? That's very, very, very concerning, Michael, that it would do that. Force her to install the app. Yes, they're all knowing. Turn the microphone off when you're not using it. I do that now. I push the little button and mute them so that they're not always listening. Because you just never know. You never know who else is listening. I got an email from Jack that said, hey, Todd, I have 2 Windows 10 test computers and 2 production computers. I've never had problems with swapping routers or switches. I do not use third-party antivirus software as they are additional attack surface for malware and virus, especially since they have Ring 0 root access. Take a look here. Norton Antivirus may be in conflict with some other software. I'm an IT volunteer at my church with over 50 computers and not had issues you talked about in your last podcast. I hope you find the source of your network problems. Yeah, Jack, it did not want to switch. It was, I'll be frank, it felt like the machine was giving me the bird. And the final email that has come in that I will read, and then we'll get everybody out of here. I hope I didn't read this already. Hey, Todd, in episode 1240, you spoke about the memory storage issue with Android. You mentioned you did not understand the problem because one could simply buy and insert a card with more memory. I can speak to this as a constant struggle for my wife and I. We have Samsung Galaxy S5s that came with 16 gigs of internal storage. However, after you factor in all the bloatware that comes with the phones and cannot be removed without rooting the device, there's only roughly 6 gigs of internal storage. So naturally, I bought each of a 64 gig memory card. Our photos and videos get saved directly. Yet the additional 64 gig, no problem. The problem comes down to the 6 gig of precious internal storage, even if you move space-hungry apps like Pocket Cast, Facebook, Netflix, Google Maps, Amazon, etc. to the SD card. Every single time an app update comes, the app defaults back to an internal storage. So frustrating. As you know, these updates all the time, so we're constantly playing the app shuffle game, trying to free up space, even though we have 64 gigs sitting right in the phone. Yeah, very, very frustrating. I think I read this on a previous show, but Nate, we got covered twice. Everyone, thanks for being here. If you got comments on today's show, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. And tell me what you got on your cyber deals. Thanksgiving, Black Friday, what did you buy? Want to know, what did you score? What was the deal of the day? Did you buy a TV? Did you get a smart device? An assisted intelligence device? What did you get? Want to hear from you. Thanks for your support of the sponsors or sponsor. And thank for all of the insiders. Thank you so much for your continued contributions to the show. It is so greatly appreciated. I am very, very honest with you. Thank you so very much. Hey, we'll be back. I will be back with you on Thursday with another episode of the Geek News Central podcast. Everyone take care. We'll see you next time on Geek News Central. Everyone take care. Aloha.